Hey again everyone. It's been a while since I made a video because I realised that I didn't have very many viewers on my last ones. Yeah, so I haven't been overly motivated to do it, but then today I've just spontaneously thought, sod it, I'll do it again, but excuse the backdrop because I'm in my bedroom and it's not been decorated yet, so it looks really bad. And if you can hear a weird noise, it's my washing machine downstairs because it's really noisy. I think the thing that I wanted to talk about was how bulimia can affect your body and the effects that it can have on your body and your appearance and things like that, because I get so annoyed when people glamorize it and make it out to be this thing when actually it's really quite a serious disease which can have really bad knock-on effects on your body. And there are a lot of things that I sort of deal with on a daily basis that I've got used to, but it's been really troubling me recently because I really want to be able to stop, but I'm not sure if I can deal with the emotions associated with not having to be able to do it, because it's such a big thing and I would feel like it's a massive thing that's been taken out of my life, and I find it's like my thing that gives me comfort and pleasure and stuff, and if I stop doing it I feel like a big thing has been taken away from me. But I know that my health will start to improve in time should I stop, and my mentality around it should change as well. And I'm so conflicted between really wanting to be able to stop doing it and have a healthy life and stuff, and sort of sticking to my old ways and my old comfort. But see, the eating disorder thing is so deeply ingrained in me. I was very overweight when I was younger, and I got picked on quite a lot about it at school, and then I lost some weight with my leg operations that I had when I was 17, and I lost probably about 3 stone, and I went back to school and everyone was like, wow, you've lost so much weight. And I enjoyed that, so I continued it, and that developed into anorexia. But then coming out of the anorexia, I'd starved my body for so long that I then started binge eating, and I couldn't stop, and I piled the weight back on very quickly, which in turn meant that I was binge eating, and then I started throwing up. But things would sort of stabilise for about a year, and I'd maintain the same sort of weight and stuff, and things would stabilise, but then something would happen, and then I'd go back into my bulimic ways or my binge eating ways, and because of that my weight has fluctuated pretty much my entire life. I've gone from being very skinny to really quite overweight to very skinny again to overweight, and I want that to be able to stabilise, and I don't want to be living my life revolving around food and weight, and my weight being so important. And I'm really determined to do it, but I've been determined to do it since I was 17. So I'm not going to go into details about what my bulimia entails because I don't think people really need to know that, but I will talk about the effects that I have found it has on my body and my reasons for wanting to stop. And obviously most of you will know that I'm also type 1 diabetic, so being a diabetic and being bulimic means I've got all of the added risks from the uncontrolled diabetes alongside the bulimia problem. My last psychiatrist appointment, which I went to about 3 weeks ago, he basically turned around to me and he said, if you don't stop, you are going to die, whether it's from the bulimia or the diabetes. So something has to change. And me doing these videos is a small change in sharing with people, but I expect most of you are probably bored already. Oh, and I wanted to apologise for my previous video. Apparently I swore too much in it, so I'm going to try and hold off on the swearing a little bit this time. Right, I don't really know where to start, and I don't particularly know. Some of it will be type 1 high sugars related problems, and some of it will be bulimia related problems. I've had a few scares recently. I completely lost the feeling in my left leg about 2-3 weeks ago, and I thought that was it. I thought, right, nerve damage, done, can't feel it. But luckily the feeling came back after a few days, so it wasn't too bad, but I was really scared. It's difficult to say what is the diabetes and what is the bulimia, but I'll try and remember everything, and I'm probably having a brain fart, and I can't understand. I've got my phone propped up against a mirror, and I look really different in the mirror to what I look here. It's like my face is all in here, and it's not right there. Anyway, doesn't matter. But yeah, first thing, puffy face. When I haven't been sick for a few days, my cheekbones come back, and I lose all of this puffiness and all of this puffiness around here. I think it's to do with inflamed salivary glands or something, but I know that my face is very puffy, and eye bags as well. My lips crack a lot. I get really, really dry lips. My eyes tend to look puffy. My eyelids tend to look heavy from having high sugars. I've also found over the years that a lot of my hair has fallen out. I used to have really lovely, long, thick, luscious hair, and now, as you can see, it's thin, and hairdressers rarely even know what to do with it because it's so thin. So yeah, hair falls out really quite easily. I can't grow it much longer than this because it just breaks and falls out. Massive weight fluctuations, obviously, severe dehydration, which can make me feel very dizzy and faint. I'll stand, obviously you do the usual standing up too quickly and you feel dizzy, but when you're dehydrated it's like that, but 10 times worse, and you get a pounding headache as well. Dry flaky skin. My nails are completely, I don't know if you can see, damaged, falling out. I've been losing my toenails. My toenails keep on coming off and I'm left with no toenail. It affects your teeth as well, but luckily I've not lost any, but they're quite stained. But I think that's just because I drink a lot of coffee and I'm trying to give up smoking, but they are quite stained. But I don't think my teeth are actually too bad, to be quite honest with you. Another one is bowels. It will massively affect your bowels, especially if you're taking laxatives, which I have actually managed to stop taking. I'm on natural stuff now, but it means that I won't go for a poo for days, and then when I do, it's really painful. Severe IBS, I can sometimes have a week of really, really bad diarrhea. It's caused me to have incontinence. I have to wear incontinence pads in the evening and at night because I cannot control my bladder anymore properly. And obviously reflux as well. I get really bad reflux, and it can be quite painful, and it can be quite scary at times because it feels like it's here and it's like a radiating pain going across. That's gastroesophageal reflux disease anyway. God, my brain's gone completely blank now. I know how it affects you, but I think I've got so used to it now that I can't actually think. I know it's tiredness. If I've had a particularly bad evening of it, you feel very, very tired the next day. I get paranoid about smelling like puke or whatever else. But I need to hold sight of the fact that it's so much better now. Oh, hold on, I've got a call coming in. Let's decline that because I don't know who that is. What was I going to say? Yeah, hold sight of the fact that it's a lot better now than it used to be. I mean, a couple of years ago, I would do it like 5-6 times a day. And now it's generally, it's only ever been in the evening and at night now for the last 18 months, something like that. So I'm actually quite proud of myself for that. And I've reduced what I'm eating. I'm not eating quite as much, although my partner will probably disagree with me on that one, but I'm really not eating quite as much. It causes, you know, I'm bloated pretty much all the time, which when you worry that you're fat and then you're bloated, it's a self-perpetuating cycle. Yeah, and I feel really strongly about this because unfortunately a few years ago my dad passed away from type 1 diabetes related illness. It affected his heart, it affected his kidneys. He was almost completely blind, and he was in basically multi-organ failure due to not looking after his diabetes and not looking after his blood pressure. So you know what you need to do. But it's just a case of taking the leap and small steps. But I don't know what the next small step should be for me, like what it should be. It's if you've never had an eating disorder, you probably won't understand completely. Oh no, that sounded really, really patronising. Then I didn't mean for it to sound like that. I just mean if you've never had this love-hate relationship with food, then it's difficult to understand, I guess, how it is a form of addiction. But unfortunately, eating is socially acceptable. I mean, there's food everywhere. You go to cafes, there's shops everywhere. You can buy food, and it's absolutely fine. It's not like an addiction. Like, I don't know, if you're sort of doing heroin and things like that and you're addicted to it, you wouldn't be able to just stand in the street and shoot up some heroin or whatever. But when you've got a food addiction, you can be sat there stuffing your face and nobody bats an eyelid. I'm not saying it's any worse or better or whatever. I'm just sort of saying about how eating is socially acceptable and food is readily available and it's advertised everywhere. Like, eating is a social activity. So I don't know. I hope I don't, what's the word? Insult anybody or, offend anybody. That's the word that I was trying to think of. And I apologise, this video's been a bit of a mishmash of a lot of different things, and it's really not another woe is me video. It's really not. It's just about me sharing my shit and saying about how much I really want to deal with this. And if any of you have watched this video and you can relate to any of this stuff, please send me a message, because I'd love to meet other people that are in a very similar situation, not in a negative way, in a positive way of supporting each other and understanding. No comparisons, no triggers, no talk about weight, nothing like that at all. Just positivity. And yeah, so I think I haven't run out of things to say, but that's probably enough for this one, because this video's been an absolute mishmash. But yeah, bye.